Hey, welcome to Steph's world. Don't even know what number it is. It's been a few weeks. I haven't talked to all of you. How's everybody been? Huh? The reason I haven't talked to you, whoops, I can't figure out where my hair is at because it's kind of getting in my way here. The reason I haven't talked to you is because, man, I have been busy. Okay, busy. Uh, had some family problems, still do. But we can choose to continue to live our life, even though some of our loved ones are making choices in their lives that are, well, they could end their lives from those choices. It's horrible. I'm not going to tell you my life story, but I am going to tell you a few things. I don't think a lot of you understand that I am really challenged. Now, I've talked about this before, and now I'm really going to talk about it big time. Now, what do I mean by challenged? Okay? I'll bet you're wondering, what's that mean, challenged? Well, I got hair everywhere. Okay. Challenged, to me, is the equivalent of what some people call disabled. Okay? Well, disabled means a lot of things. It means that I could be a paraplegic. It means I could be blind. It means that I could have such severe back trouble that I can't, function in a job or whatever. But I'll tell you about me, and then you'll understand what I'm talking about. How's that sound? When I was newly married, I just turned 18 years old and I got married. Oh yeah, young. Now, the reason that I did that, of course, now there's always a reason why somebody that young is going to get married. Trust me. And there was for me. I felt like I had no choice. Pay attention to those words. I had no choice. That's exactly what I felt like. And the man that I was marrying demanded that we have a Catholic marriage. His family, he was second or third generation Russian. His family had come over, during the Russian Revolution. Okay. One time he told me that he was, white Russian or something like that. But anyway, I'm going to be perfectly honest. I did not love him. And I begged him to just, how about we live together? Now, let me tell you the year. It was 1971. Okay? I had just graduated from college or high school, and my dad was really upset because I wasn't going to college right off the bat, and he couldn't figure out why I was getting married. Well, I can tell you why. I thought I had no choice. I had heard stuff being said by one of my parents throughout the years that made me think that when I turned 18, I was going to be set free. Well, guess what? I had my own apartment already. I had a great job, and I was doing fine. I didn't need this man at all, but I thought I did. I thought I did. And deep down in my heart, I knew I really didn't even love him. Okay? Well, one night, I got off work. It was about 6, 7 o'clock at night. I had strange hours, by the way. But at this point in time, that week, I was on almost regular daytime hours, okay? I lived in the Chicago area, and my girlfriend, who I still, on occasion, even talk to her, and it's been over 40 years since all this, okay? She'll never forget it, nor will my family. But she and I wanted to go to a movie that night. I keep thinking it was the Sundance Kid or something like that. Or it might have been Love Story, but I'm not sure which it was, okay? It was during that time when those movies were out, okay? Now, the movie place was just, everything was in walking distance, by the way, in our suburb where we lived. And there was a bar on the corner of our street and right real close to our upstairs apartment where we lived. And my new husband spent a lot of time in that bar. Okay? Well, he was supposed to be there when I got home, but he wasn't. So I wrote him a note and I said, my friend and I are going to go to a movie. And I even gave him the name of the movie. And it was just right down the street. We got back about 11 o'clock, and my new husband, we were only married 3 weeks at that point. And my brand new husband was all scrunched up on the couch in this leather jacket. So I was going to be a sweet, loving little wife after my friend left and try to get him out of it, at least get him out of the jacket. I wasn't even going to try to get him to his bed. I was just going to get him out of the jacket. This was end of November in the Chicago area. Now, if you've ever lived in Chicago, you know that that time of year is cold, okay? When I did that, he woke up. When he woke up swinging. And he started punching me like I was a punching bag. My face became his punching bag, okay? But it didn't stop there. He decided to strangle me. And he strangled me so bad that he broke my neck. Now, some of you might say, well, why aren't you paralyzed from your neck down? Well, frankly, if he had broken my spinal cord, I'd be dead. I'd be dead today. But boy, do I have problems. Trust me. Now, that was over 40 years ago. That was like 41 years ago, okay? And the doctors back then, oh, by the way, my whole face was totally pulverized, okay? It wasn't nice and clear like it is today, you know? Nothing like it is, alright? It was pulverized. The neck itself was so swollen, it was black, and it was out to here. And I think they even had trouble finding a neck brace to hold it all together. but they did. And I remember well, you gotta remember too that I crawled to the police station on my hands and knees. And he had ripped open my neck with his fingers, just literally ripped it open. And I had blood just pouring out of it. And then there were other parts of my body that were bleeding I can't even speak, profusely. I don't even remember where those parts were, but I know that all of it had to be stitched. And I was just blood soaked, just profoundly blood soaked. When I got to the police station on my hands and knees, they were a half a block away. It was in the snow. And they had one of those doors that they could see me, even on my hands and knees. My head was like one of those bobble dolls. Well, anyway, I think they were in shock that I was even alive. They were absolutely in shock. Okay? Now, they called an ambulance immediately. I think they were thinking about getting a helicopter in. I could hear them going back and forth, but they got an ambulance in, and that ambulance went faster. I've been in plenty of ambulances, and I never was in one that went that fast in my life. And they got me to one of the hospitals down there, and there's a lot of things that they missed when they examined me, and that's because back then they didn't have a lot of the machines that we have today. They didn't have an MRI machine. They didn't have a CAT scan. All they had was an X-ray machine. That was it. They could do a blood test, they could do a urine test, and they could see for themselves what was wrong, and they had an X-ray machine. And that was about it. But they did figure out that they felt like something got broken in the old neck noggin here. They were pretty sure about that. Okay, so anyway, one of the doctors tried to talk me into leaving my 3-week-old marriage immediately. And, I just felt like I couldn't do it, I had to give my new husband a chance to make amends or a chance to make this right. I didn't know what else to do. I was a young girl, just turned 18. I was a very young girl. I had just entered into adulthood. Well, the next day, the damage of what he did became very apparent. One eye was every blood vessel was broken, the other eye was shut, and it was shut for 3 weeks, and when it finally opened, every blood vessel in that eye had been broken too. He didn't break my nose, that's the miracle of it. You know what, when he was doing all that beating on me and telling me he wanted me to die, because he was trying to kill me, that's what he told me. And today, I'm going to be honest with you, I trust that he was. I believe that that was his intent. We were in a 2nd-story apartment. I did everything in my power to try to jump out that 2nd-story window. I didn't care what it did to me. I wanted to just get away from this man who was trying to kill me, my husband. Now, there's a lot more that went on, and you can read about it in a book I'm writing. when that book comes out, I'll let y'all know because I'm going to get it published. I'm halfway through the book now. And you'll understand a lot more about why I thought I had no choice. Okay? I want you to remember this I have no choice thing. Alright? Now, don't you say that a lot? Come on now. Be honest. I have no choice. I gotta do this. I don't have any other choice. Come on. I know it's all of you say that. Well, I beg to differ. I think we have a choice on anything we do. Anything. Anything in our lives, we have a choice. Anything. Now, I'm not done. That's how the neck got broken. I'm fused from here to here. Right about where the tattoo starts. Right about there. And when I say fused, I mean it's all one bone. And it's got a whole bunch of titanium all throughout here, okay? When they do, like if they x-rayed my gums and all that, they can actually see some of the screws and some of the plates, okay? Took 3 surgeries to get that done. And they didn't do it when I first broke it, okay? It was many years later. I learned to live in that pain. I learned to live in it. I took a lot of Motrin, let me tell you. A lot of aspirin, a lot of Motrin. And now, today, I'm allergic to it. My tummy bleeds. No good, is it? So I can't take that medication. Anything made out of it, I can't take it. It makes me sick. Trust me, they've tried. Didn't work. Okay, now let's move on. What's the other thing that happened to me? Well, when I was about 40 years old, I had a home. 2 of my children were still living there, and they were teenagers. In fact, my son Matt, that passed away, y'all heard about him. He was an Army hero. He died for his country. He was having a big old party in there. It was Labor Day weekend. Now, I was going to turn 41 in October, but that was like the end of September, so it was real close to my birthday. So 40, almost 41, something really amazing happened. I fell in the front yard. And guess what happened? Broke my lower back. Isn't that something? Here I am. I'm sitting up, but I got Mr. Kane here with me. Yep, he's my buddy. He goes just about everywhere with me. Oh, notice the pillows? Yeah. Some other things have happened, too. Well, when that happened, that was a big deal. I tried to make it into a little deal, but it really was a big deal. Problem was, I tried to do things too quickly. I didn't let those bones grow back together properly, okay? I even went back to work too soon. How about that? Old workaholic Steph. Yeah, went back to work, everything, and I wasn't ready. I could actually feel the bones sliding. I could feel it. It was the most horrible sensation. I could never describe it. Not in a million years. Now my lower back had always hurt. I never knew why. So anyway, when I was a child, I used to wake up screaming in the night, and my legs hurt real bad, and I would be screaming, and my mother would come in, and she'd say, "Oh, those are growing pains." Well, there is no such thing as growing pains. That's what somebody told her when she woke up screaming. Because good old mom, she had the same problems I did. Didn't know about it till she was much older than I was when I found out. But she has them, and that's kind of where some of them came from. Okay, now, broke the lower back. Didn't break the spinal cord. Why? Broke it just below the spinal cord. How about that one? Huh? Yeah. It still did a number on my walking ability. Don't think it didn't. Okay, so, but I went back to work regardless, and I pretended that everything was alright. And it wasn't, of course. But I guess in my mind, I wanted to ignore it and just act like nothing was really wrong. I wanted me not to have problems. Okay? I wanted to be like everybody else my age. Have fun in life, live a good life, and not have medical issues. Okay? So that happened. Well, I'm going to give you some dates now. 1997, my insurance would not pay for what I medically needed. It refused. Now, they agreed that I needed the surgery, but they wouldn't do it. I went to a doctor I got a second opinion. And I went to a doctor that they didn't pay for, I paid for. He wrote up a 5-page report about me. I still have it today. It wasn't a very good report, I can promise you that. He ran every test known to man in 1997. Back then they did have MRI machines and all kinds of stuff. And I went to one of our best college medical institutes in our area, okay, where I lived. All right, now, 1998, that year, beginning of that year, I changed my medical, and at that point, it covered the procedure. Now, it was a new procedure, brand new. And so I had a major operation done that October 21st, 1998. It's ingrained in my memory because it was huge. It was my first spinal operation. They cut my back from where my belly button is. I have a scar. It's all the way down. They cut it all the way from my belly button area, all the way down to, well, let's put it this way, the buttocks. And then they did the exact same thing in the front. Now, my ex-husband came over and helped me big time for about 3 months. It was a 2-year recovery. I had to wear a back brace all the time for about 6 months. Okay? Once in a while I'd be able to take it off, but then I could tell I couldn't handle it, so it would have to go back on. When I went back to work, I worked from home for a while because I was a programmer. Oh yeah, I went to college, from the time that I had that horrible wife abusing husband to, when my children just started school, I started school too, and I became a programmer, you know. But anyway, so, I was working at a bank, and a lot of the programs that I was in charge of and that I had written, they needed me. They didn't have anyone backing me up, which was kind of stupid, okay? And I used to tell them, you need a backup for me, but they wouldn't listen. They did later, much, much later. Okay, now, bottom line is this. I had a special fusion done in several disc areas in my lumbar. That's the lower back, okay, for all of you who don't know what that is. Normally, they would have put 2 rods in the whole lumbar and just made it into one bone. Well, they almost did that, except that they left like the top one and I think the second one. But they didn't put the rods in. They put another special deal in. It's I can't think of the name of it right now. The bottom part of it is going bad. It's no good. Remember, this is 1998. This is 2013. The doctor had no idea. He was a great orthopedic doctor, but he had no idea it was a brand new thing. I was the 83rd person in the Kansas City, Missouri area. It's got at least 2 million people in it. I was the 83rd person to have the operation done. Okay. When they went in, my doctor came up into me the second or third day when I was finally a little coherent. And he told me, Stephanie, I gotta be honest, when we went in, I never saw anything like this in my life. And what he meant was, this is what he told me. He said that my discs were gone. There were no discs. He said my spinal cord was flat as a pancake, right down the middle. He said down on one other side, it was pinched partially on one side, and then up higher, it was pinched on the other side. So technically, I was, my spinal cord was flat in 2 different areas, technically. Now, he told me, he said, I don't even know how you could even walk, let alone all the stuff I tried to do. Now, I couldn't drive anymore. And I bought a condo. I sold my home that I raised my children in. And I bought a condo. They were gone. They had all living their lives. But I bought a condo, and it was very neat because it had lots of room for someone else to even live there and help take care of me. So my daughter and her husband and their little baby, my first granddaughter, moved in. And it was a 2-year recovery. Now they gave me permission to go back to work. And I seemed to be doing okay. And the doctor was really proud of me. And he was so proud of me. So anyway, that's the spine. So I have 9 levels fused in my spinal cord, all the way down. 9 levels. Now, what I mean by that is they took the discs, whatever discs I had left, they took them totally out, and they put bone and they took it from each side of my hip. And then when they couldn't take any from my hip, they took cadaver bone, which means it came off of a deceased person. Okay? Sometimes when they do that, it doesn't work, but I was lucky. In my case, I was healthy. In every other way, I was healthy. And, after I had 8 levels fused, I still worked. I still held on to a job. Now, when I did all that, held on to that job, guess what I was paying for? Social Security came out of my check. I figured it out one time. I was paying 30% in Social Security and a few other minor things, mostly going to Social Security. 30% of my check was paying for Social Security. Yeah, think we get this stuff for free? Sorry, we don't. Okay, now, when I had the last neck operation, I couldn't work anymore. It was over with. My days of working were done. There was a lot I had to do. You can't even imagine all the stuff I did as a computer programmer. I can't even begin to tell you. It was like being a doctor. So try to imagine that, okay? Now, as time went on, a lot of other things happened. That last spinal operation that I had was real close to my brain back here. And it was so close that my doctor warned me. He said, you could die. You could have a stroke. You could go into a coma. I mean, there was a list a mile long of what could happen. And he also told me that, the space that we have to swallow food might get real teeny tiny. Well, guess what? It did. And then on top of that, guess what else happened? I had a stroke. Yep. Sure enough, did. I didn't even know I did until some of my family came to see me, and they had to go out of the room because they were crying. Because one whole side of my face was all drooped. I couldn't even use it. I knew I was having trouble swallowing, but I couldn't figure out why. Okay, now, one eye droops today. I don't know which eye it is, but if you see my pictures and all that, you'll notice it. I work hard on the eyes, okay, to try to make them normal. Okay, now, I had several other things happen to me even after all this happened, okay? I felt like I was having a different operation every year. It was a nightmare. I was tired of it. All right, now, in 5 years ago, which would be, 2003 or 2013, so that would have been 2008. I had a brain aneurysm. Okay? Full force brain aneurysm. I should have been killed. I should have died. Let me tell you that right now. I am a miracle. I should not be here today. Now, they put 4 shunts, titanium shunts, on the left side of my brain. 4 shunts. Okay? Imagine. And these shunts are that big. 4 of them. On the left side. Yeah, it was pretty hairy operation. I was lucky, at least I felt like I was. They didn't have to shave all my hair off and put my head in one of those holder things and go in that way. But on the other hand, I think they were a bit surprised that it was as bad as it was. And see, that's how my life seems to work. These doctors go in and, oh my goodness, okay, that's a little worse than what we thought it was. It always works that way, at least for me. Well, it's been 5 years, and I'm going to be honest, there are issues that I have to deal with daily from that, from the stroke, from the aneurysm, from the 9 levels fused in my spine, and the fact that my spine's given out in the lower part. What that means is that sometimes this leg I have no feeling in. And then if I didn't have Mr. Kane here, every now and then I'll take a picture of me standing without Mr. Kane. But guess what? Mr. Kane is right where I can get to it, to my guy here. So that when I take that picture and I put seconds on it, for you guys. I try to make myself look good for you. But Mr. Kane's always right there for me so that I don't fall because I have. And my doctor is so afraid I'm going to fall that, that's all I hear about. Don't climb on furniture, don't do this, don't do that, blah, blah, blah. He can't even believe I drive a car, which we won't tell Georgia about it, okay? We don't want Georgia's driver's license on. Now, today, 5 years later, I still have a swallowing problem. They tried to do an operation on me a couple of weeks after I had that real bad operation on my neck that finished off all the rest of it even went into the titanium, or it even went into the thoracic spine, and that's the middle part of your spine. It went into the top one. The T1 is done too. Okay, I have tremors. Sometimes I can barely handle a computer, but you don't know it because I don't tell you that. It's not that I'm trying to pretend I'm okay, not at all. But you know what? I'm not going to let this beat me. Got it? I'm not going to do that. It ain't going to beat me, and that's all there is to it. The only thing that almost beat me was 2011 when my child died. That almost got me. Almost died from that. That was super shock time. Okay, now I want to talk to you about this I don't have any choices crap. Okay? Well, we have a choice in everything we do in life. When I moved here to Georgia, it was a super shock meeting some of these doctors down here. I fired 4 doctors. Why? Because they didn't have any vision. That was one reason. There were several others. When I came down here, I had paperwork that thick about my medical problems. And I only found one doctor that really took it seriously, and he's still my doctor today. And he's wonderful. Oh, by the way, I've had shingles. That is a real horrible thing. I should be on the TV about that one. My goodness. Woo! Woo! I still have it. That was way back in the beginning of November. I still have it. Now, I'm not going to get into that stuff, but anyway, let's talk about a few things. How to empower yourself. You know what? I might be challenged, but that doesn't mean it's the end of the world for me. I'm not going to be that way. I'm not going to live like that. Sorry, ain't happening. Heck, if I could run for president, I would. You darn right I would. Because you know why? Sorry if you don't like this, but I think I could be just as good, if not better, a president. I've been through hell and back. And I have a God of my understanding. And that God keeps me in balance. Now here's the deal. You know, a lot of people grow up in a really chaotic situation. Really chaos, okay? Now where do you think all that chaos goes when they grow up? Huh? It goes with them. How about that? Yeah. You think that they become normal people just because they leave home, go to college? Oh yeah, they go. I know, I went. I had a 3.8 GPA at one school, and at DeBry I had a 3.7. And that's because I actually tested out of several classes. Yeah, didn't even take them. Just tested out, got B's in them. You know, I guess that's life. But I didn't care. I was working in my field already. So, anyway, I'm going to read you a few things. Alright. You'll like this. This is by Emmett Fox. It's called Find and Use Your Inner Power. Thought is destiny. You think and your thoughts materialize as experience. And thus it is. All unknown to yourself as a rule that you are actually weaving the pattern of your own destiny. Here now, by the way, in which you allow yourself to think day by day and all day long. It is altogether in your own hands. Nobody but yourself can keep you down. Nobody. Nobody else can involve you in difficulty or limitation. Neither parents, nor wives, nor husbands, nor employers, nor neighbors, nor poverty, nor ignorance, or any power whatever can keep you out of your own when once you have learned how to think for yourself. I'm throwing that one in. Well, I have a few other things, and this is going to be part one because it's getting late. And we'll do part two, and then we'll talk about empowering yourself, okay? Getting out of that stupid rut, man. Because I know how tough that is. It took me years, but I did it. And I had help. So I love y'all. And I'm not sure what number this is. I'll know when I get done. I'll post it. I love y'all. This is part one. Talk to you soon. Have a great day. Thank you.